You're listening to FitPro Sessions with Parallel Coaching, episode number 29. Hi, I'm Neale Bergman, and in today's podcast, myself and Hayley are ranting. It's our first rant on the FitPro Sessions, and we're talking all about the limitations of a FitPro, so stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Neale Bergman.
And I'm Hayley Bergman. Over the last 10 years, we've helped thousands of fitness professionals to get qualified, learn with simplicity, and coach clients with confidence.
We're the first to say that learning and being a FitPro doesn't have to be hard work, and that with the right structure, support and resources, you can become a confident and knowledgeable fitness professional that is dedicated to more.
So how do you learn, qualify and kickstart as a FitPro? This is the FitPro Sessions Podcast with Parallel Coaching.
I feel all fired up to rant, Hayley. All fired up to rant. But at the same time, I've got this kind of like real good feeling about this episode, number 29. But on the same side of that, like, it's not really a rant.
Okay.
It kind of is.
What do you want to rant about?
Loads of things. Loads of things. I want to rant about FitPros, myself included.
Okay.
Well, you help.
And limitations.
And limitations.
So limitations of a FitPro. But what I love about that as a rant is that I know, knowing us, this is not just going to be a rant. It's actually going to be a really helpful guide about what you can and can't do.
Exactly. It's about what can you do, what can't you do. But at the heart of it, like,
it's a rant.
It's a rant. Maybe it's not, because we're laughing about it. Like, what's the main problem here then? Like, what is the problem? Why are we ranting? We've done 29 podcasts now with no rant. And if I look back at our original plan, we were going to like rant every 4 or 5.
Okay, cool. Well, we are ranting because we basically have lots of interaction with loads of our learners, loads of FitPros, people who have trained with us, people who haven't trained with us. And usually that's through our Inner Circle Facebook group. But other methods as well. We got lots of. It could be
email, Facebook Messenger, Facebook, like tons on Instagram, and like the amount of comments on our YouTube is like hundreds and hundreds of comments. I'm going to say YouTube. I'm ranting about YouTube.
And questions that come through. So these questions that we get are usually quite often FitPros that are really unsure about who they can work with and what their qualifications allow them to do. And as a result of all that unsureness, is that the right word?
It can be a word now.
Insecurity.
I'm going to rant about your language.
They are taking unnecessary risks to their clients and drawing a blind eye to some limitations.
Completely. Like, you've hit the nail on the head. Let's get serious now. So you do a qualification. It's understanding what that qualification allows you to do within the realms of that qualification, what you're insured to. And there are no grey lines. There are no blurred lines. No. And this is what, I've been in this industry now 15 years, and the amount of times, and I think I was definitely guilty of it when I first started, to a degree, of like blurring those lines. But the amount of people I've come across where they've gone, well, why can't I do this? So I do this with my clients.
Or someone else does this, so why can't I?
Yeah, completely. Just because someone else trains a particular client when they're not qualified to, doesn't mean that gives you the right to go and do it yourself.
Yeah, and sometimes it's like a blind eye situation where you literally go, I don't want to see that as the fact of who I can and can't work with, so I'm just not going to look at that or question it.
Yes.
I'm just going to go ahead and work with them anyway.
So give me an example of like a problem of a typical person would reach out and say, can I work with this person?
Okay, I think classic is probably relating to somebody that fails a PARQ.
Yeah.
So let's say
PARQ
they've got
typically
some
like
conditions.
7 or 9 questions in, maybe a few more.
Let's say the client's got medications, or they've had heart problems, or whatever it might be. And then they might tick yes on that PARQ, the pre-activity readiness questionnaire. And as soon as they tick yes, you can no longer work with them as a regular FitPro in terms of the basic qualifications of level 2 gym, level 3 PT, even the Pilates and yoga side of things. They don't include the specialist knowledge of those that refer that PARQ.
And in the grand scheme of things, the exercise prescription doesn't overly change very much.
No, not
but
much.
There's usually, I'm going to say, on most medications, 1 or 2 considerations to make.
Yeah.
That are ninja moves that could mean the difference between someone adhering to exercise but more importantly, have a huge impact on their health of a positive or a negative.
Yeah, so there's risk.
So there's risk involved, the association of that risk.
And I think it also results in
just jumping in, ranting. I'm ranting. That's why there's a risk stratification tool, or a number of risk stratification tools in, for example, Exercise Referral, to understand at what risk does this client pose.
And it gives you a black and white. This is who I can work with, this is who I can't.
Yes.
But it also gives a substandard quality, doesn't it? Because if you're working with somebody when really you don't have the knowledge to do it, then your quality is not the highest it could be. But also a gap in your confidence, because you know you're not supposed to be working with them.
This is the two rants I've got. You've just got me going now. Okay, the problem is somebody turns around and says, quite often, certainly on our, and it's not, this isn't a hit at anybody specifically, a derogatory comment. I'm included. I am a fitness professional at heart of this. But it's someone turning around saying, I've got a session with ex-client in the end of this week. What can I do with them? They've got X, Y, and Z wrong with their hip and their knee, an injury or their low back. And you can't turn around and go, well, nothing. You can't do anything with them because
you don't even know about the injury.
Like, of course you don't feel confident or competent or just confident because you don't have the knowledge and you don't know what you're doing. And like, I sit back and go, you shouldn't be working with them. That's my rant here. My next rant, whilst I'm going, is somebody that turns around and says, I've got loads of clients at the moment. I go, cool, wicked, tell me more about them. And they're all BMI above 35 and 40. Well, really above 30. And, we could have a rant about the validity of the BMI. That's not what this podcast is about. But somebody that is categorized as obese.
Obese, yeah.
And the level 3 PT only allows you to work up to BMI 29.9, because those are the considerations for somebody that is of healthy, normal weight. And I don't want to use this podcast for a rant on that either, but somebody that is just overweight.
Yeah.
But somebody that is obese comes with a different set of problems now, not covered inside the PT course or the yoga course or the Pilates course or a spin course or a circuits course or a kids act course, whatever course. Bam.
Exactly. And if you imagine, like, I love crossing this to something else. Imagine your GP, your family GP. Do we have one GP anymore? Anyway, it's a different conversation.
I'm ranting at you for not trying out my GP.
So asking your family GP to do, say, like surgery on your hip. Like, I need a hip surgery. My family GP will do it. Or asking like your handyman that's been helping out in the garden and does like waters the flowers for your mum or whatever, to then landscape your whole garden. There's basically this, all industries have foundational certificates and qualifications that you can then later build on, and later you can become a specialist. But to start off with is knowing that parameter that you sit inside, just like the GP does. He doesn't do surgery. Yeah,
they send you to the specialist.
Yes.
So if you want to be the specialist in low back, you've got to do extra knowledge courses, qualifications in the lower back.
Yes.
Cool.
And it's that experience.
Here's my next
and
rant.
Knowledge. Yeah.
Is, again, it's a fitness professionals globally, big generalized comment, but turn around and say, well, I'm qualified. I've just watched a shit ton of YouTube videos around the knee. And now I know everything about the knee. No, you don't. No, you don't.
But YouTube is good.
YouTube is amazing. Don't get me wrong. I love YouTube. Like we have so many learners, around original YouTube. But that doesn't mean they're a specialist in anatomy and physiology.
And also, that's just knowledge that let's say you read it in a book, you watched it on YouTube, you're gathering this info, but it's not been assessed that you understood it properly.
Yes.
So there's no guarantee, which is why you feel underconfident. I don't mean you.
Yeah, but you've interpreted that information you've read or watched as fact.
Yeah.
It could just be someone's opinion.
It could be.
There we go.
Just like our rant.
Exactly. There we go.
Now, what I love is that although that all sounds so negative and so ranty of us, there's a really nice possibility that comes from it. And that possibility is that as soon as you know what your limitations are, and that allows this huge amount of professionalism to sit in place.
Yes.
And then you're free to feel confident about what you do and who you offer it to.
The easiest way, I think, I remind so many learners, whether through Parallel or other learners from other providers that have come over to us for some questions and help, is very simple. was it covered in your course? Simple as that. Like, was it covered in the course? And to what degree was that information?
Did your tutor sit down and talk to you about it?
What,
did you learn it in the manual?
In the manual, and what degree was that covered in? So a classic example, again, for me, is level 2 fitness instructor.
Awesome. Yeah.
Am I good to jump into that now?
Yeah.
So level 2 fitness instructor is about delivering a safe and effective introductory session to the gym, writing, dare I say, relatively basic programming.
Yeah.
For somebody new, somebody maybe even intermediate, maybe even somebody advanced, but you're not directly training them one-to-one.
It's safe, effective, one session.
Yeah, or you might put a plan together they might follow for 4 weeks, but it's pretty much the same session repeated.
Kind of a gym induction.
It's a gym induction, the very heart of it, offering very clear, safe and effective advice.
In a gym environment.
In a gym environment. So the next thing would be is like, it doesn't allow you to do a boot camp.
No.
It doesn't allow you to do spin. It doesn't allow you to do circuits. It doesn't allow you to do anything else other than what you were taught. So that wasn't where I wanted to go with that. Okay. Inside level 2 gym fitness instructor, you're ultimately working with somebody that does pass a PARQ, somebody that is healthy, and ideally somebody that is between the ages of 16 and 55.
Yeah.
Okay. That is general Joe Blogs. Anything below 16 is deemed as younger populations, and it does allow you to work with 14 to 16-year-olds with guidance or advice.
Yes.
That's my bet where I'm going to go with this. Anything above 55 would be considered older adults, older populations. I'm pretty sure it's 55 years old.
We can contest that later when someone really fit says,
somebody
I'm not old.
Somebody will drop a comment below this video. I'm cool with that.
Plus, though,
I don't consider 55 as old, but that's the guidelines. So then you've got disabilities.
And pre and
postnatal. So you've got younger pops, older pops, pre and postnatal, and disability. Now, inside level 2 fitness instructor, whilst it is, there's awareness of those 4 populations, it doesn't qualify you to directly work and train.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's really what, when you dial in and read the manual or the online learning you've got, you'll understand that they're not talking about the heart and lungs or the anatomy and physiology or the bone structure of a young person. It's of a general Joe Blogs person, adult.
Yes.
And so you haven't learned the crux information about growth-related diseases in youngsters, energy systems in youngsters, X, Y, and Z. Can go on. We've not learned about disabilities. We've not learned, or there's no information in there around hearing impairments, visual impairments,
how to adapt for a wheelchair. There's nothing in there around pre or postnatal, very basic or
guidelines.
Fall prevention for older
adults. So even inside the qualification itself, there's a difference between I'm qualified and I'm aware of what I can do.
Nice. So well, those people might see that in their manual, or they've gone through it and they've done a worksheet about how to work with somebody that's an older adult, for example.
So like the tiniest box, it's like the active IQ syllabus. So YMCA's were saying for adapting for
pregnancy.
For pregnancy.
Different trimesters.
It's like a box to fill in, which is like, if you're watching on YouTube, it's like
a flashcard size.
It's like 2 inches by 3 inches.
Yeah.
And it's 2 bullet points at best. Yeah. That doesn't allow me to work with somebody that is pregnant. What it allows me to do as a fitness instructor is offer basic advice, safe and effective programming, and say to that pregnant lady, you can continue training.
Here's how to promote some activity. Here's what you can't do.
Here's what you can't do. But really, you need to, if you want more guidance, you need to go to a pre and postnatal specialist.
Yes, nice. And what I love about that is that you might have, let's say you have a guy in his 40s comes to you. He might then say, and you can give him all the sessions, that's absolutely fine. But he might say, oh, how about my 15-year-old daughter? Can she join in? And you're like, well, no, because there's some different recommendations needed. She's got to consider this, this, and this. But what about my pregnant wife? Can she join? Well, no, this needs to happen instead. So you've kind of got these scenarios where people might ask for advice for other people.
What's really strange, I certainly with the conversations I've had, I think why a lot of fitness professionals kind of blur these lines here is the reality is they're probably not looking at building a massive fitness brand or fitness business. It's maybe just you in the local park, church hall, school hall, and you've just got a few people, and you kind of maybe feel like, well, it won't happen to me. It doesn't really matter about me. I'm just Little old Neale.
What do you mean? Like it won't happen? Like the legal implications?
Yeah, or
something
just
goes wrong?
yeah. Well, maybe that's what I'm saying. But I'm only after a few people, so it kind of almost. I'm not really a real business.
Yeah, nice.
Does that make sense?
Well, this is kind of the blind eyeing that I was saying.
Yeah,
about.
completely.
It doesn't apply to me.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. So you kind of distance yourself from the rules to make it feel better.
The likelihood of it happening to me is really low. You're right. The likelihood of something bad happening is low, because hopefully you're qualified and you've taken those precautions. But the reality is, let's nip this one in the bud. Was it covered in my course? Yes or no? And if I were to stand in a court, in a dock, and somebody was going to sue me based on an outcome of a session that didn't go in my favour, could I stand there and go, bam, there's my PARQ, bam, there's my consent form, bam, there's my insurance, bam, there's my qualifications?
And if you can't, that's why you don't feel confident.
And that's why you don't feel confident, because what comes with a qualification or a course or CPD
it's experience and confidence and knowledge.
Yeah. And that knowledge fills the void of confidence. That fills the void of unknown.
Yes.
So you've got a client here. Let's just say they've had, I don't know, let's go with a knee injury still.
Yeah.
Okay. And over here, they want to be in their ideal place of, pain-free.
Yeah.
And there's this gap of knowledge of like, well, how do I get them from here to pain-free?
Across the bridge. What's the bridge?
How do I get them across the bridge? And that's the confidence and knowledge bridge.
Yes.
That's the confidence and knowledge
lovely.
bridge. And so we go and do something accredited that says, I've got confidence and knowledge. I've been taught
in those specific skills.
In those specific skills. It reminds me of that film. What was the film? I've got a particular set of skills. Taken. But that's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've got a particular set of skills that will help you get from A to B, and I'll find you.
Nice.
And that's the other, let's keep ranting. Because that's the other really amazing area, isn't it? Is when you have a particular set of skills.
Oh, yes.
Okay. That's when you can turn around and go, I'm just after people that have screwed their knees.
That want to go from A to B.
But want to go from A to B.
And I know that bridge. I'm that bridge. Nobody else has it. And you can scream it from the rooftops.
I use me as an example. I've done a number of level 4s. I helped, write one of the first level 4 obesity courses.
Yeah.
And so that my knowledge on working with overweight and obese people alongside exercise referral is pretty damn good.
Yeah.
And so now I can go out and beat that drum harder than most people around overweight and obese, because I have the knowledge and the confidence and competence inside that knowledge.
Awesome.
Whereas if you don't have it and you're not the specialist over here, you're not going to beat the drum very hard, and a lot is missing. So the beauty of gaining that knowledge is you can just go, bam, this is how I can help you. Bam, this is what I can do for you. Bam, this is where I can get you from A to B.
And it works.
And I just want these people, and you can scream it from the rooftops.
I love that. That really differentiates.
Bam.
And then that shows how different that is to somebody that doesn't have the skills or the qualifications or the confidence.
Yes.
Absolutely. I reckon we can sum up this in 3 points inside 60 seconds. Shall I try it?
Go for it.
Okay. So I reckon, first of all, the difference between level 2 and level 3 is one of the limitations. So level 2 is just singular sessions. Level 3 PT goes much more into nutrition, activity, mindset, over a periodization, over time, to get a set goal.
So a PT can work, well, I'm taking you off with 60
No, it's not my 60 seconds. Okay. And the next one is a group or one-to-one. So if you've done a specific course, like circuits or exercise to music, then you're able to work in that group environment.
Yes.
If not, you've only learned one-to-one through gym or PT, for example. Like, for example, Pilates is group-based, yoga is group-based.
You're talking very fast, only 60 seconds.
Next one, okay. The final part is the specialist populations thing that Neale spoke about. So it's the difference between the awareness of those populations that you get at level 2, and then the specific qualifications like level 2 children's fitness instructor, exercise referral, older adults, pre and postnatal, disability qualifications. They are specific quals.
Complete. Like,
boom, done.
If somebody, if I was given £1 for every time somebody asked me or asked you, can I do a kettlebell class? And they've not done a kettlebell certificate, literally, we would be I wrote this in an email earlier. We would be recording this in a jacuzzi on a yacht.
Oh, should we do that?
keep asking questions and send me £1.
Pound per one, please.
Pound per one. But no, honestly, we would be.
Yeah.
Because it comes back to, when did we cover kettlebells on a level 2 fitness instructor? When did we cover kettlebells in PT? Now, PT, this is where the blurred lines start to come out. Because in PT, you can use functional bits of kit. We're not talking at level 2. It's all about body weight, resistance machines, free weights and pulleys,
and
barbells and dumbbells.
List,
it's gym-based equipment.
Yeah.
Whereas level 3 opens up the realms to using kettlebells, battle ropes, elements, sandbags, power bags, prowlers, slam balls, ladders, that type of thing. And so there's a blurred line. But what PT is, it's one-to-one, very small group and very semi-private.
Yes.
One-to-one, one-to-2, one-to-3.
For a specific goal.
For a specific goal over a period of time, maybe 4, 8, 12, 16 plus weeks. It doesn't matter. But it's working with 1, 2, very few people over a specific goal. That can include kettlebells. But what that doesn't include is the ability to run a kettlebell class.
Yes.
A kettlebell boot camp specifically towards kettlebells or suspension training.
Yes.
Exactly.
In the same way, you're not running a class for pregnant ladies.
No. Like
if you
level 3,
haven't done a pre and post natal.
Yeah, level 3 PT. You can use a spin bike, but you can't run a spin class.
Yes.
So the extra qualification allows you to gain the knowledge and confidence of managing a group, deploying safe and effective exercise to a group, more than 6, more than 8, more than 10 people, group management, voice projection, tonality, confidence inside a group, being able to correct people, coach people, reinforce key points in a group setting.
That group management is so different. Yeah.
And that's the difference between, say, PT and groups.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Yeah, I think you summed that up beautifully.
There we go.
What a rant.
Ranting.
And to wrap up a rant, I think I've got to ask a couple of questions to just check that this rant is also a bit of a guide, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So to the listeners, watchers, whoever you are, who are you? So these 3 questions to ask yourself to take action.
Who are you working with at the moment? Number 1.
Type of client. Who is it you're working with? Think about it. Do you have the qualifications for that? Does a different qualification that specialist exist? Who do you want to work with?
Go back to that. You could reframe that. Who am I working with at the moment? The other side, an additional 4th question would be, where am I not confident? Or do I lack knowledge?
Yes.
And am I working with that person?
Yes. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Second official question.
Who do you want to work with in the future? So long-term plan. Maybe you go, at the moment, I just want to work with healthy people, but long-term, I would love to work with pregnant ladies.
Yeah, completely. So we get so many learners reach out and go, I just want to work with kids. What can I do? I'm like, don't do the fitness instructor. Go straight to level 2 kids. Straight to level 2 kids.
Yeah, perfect. Exactly. What type of third official question. What type of sessions?
Oh my God.
What type of sessions do you want to deliver?
Tell me more about that.
I mean, thank you. I mean things like groups or individual. Okay. Are you literally working full time and the only way you can fit this in is if you do a group boot camp of a morning?
Yeah.
Well, then you know that you've got to put in a circuit qual in there somewhere.
Completely.
Or exercise music.
Or exercise, depending on the style. And then, even once you've done your circuits or your exercise to music, you still might go on, depending on the nature of your course, you still might go on and do an additional bit of CPD in, say, the step.
Yeah.
Hit step. You might go on and do an additional bit of CPD on specific musicality and choreography. A specific bit of CPD in using a step, another bit of equipment inside that class.
Exactly. Awesome. So these 3 questions, the who you're working with, who do you want to work with, what type of sessions do you want to deliver?
And sneakily put in number 4, which was where do I currently lack knowledge or confidence?
Knowledge and confidence.
Do I have clients where my confidence and knowledge lacks?
Awesome. And then create a learning plan of all the types of courses, qualifications, knowledge, experience that you want to build up over a few years. I think it's not realistic to say that you want all of that now.
I want it now.
Because it takes time to learn, and there is no one qualification that fits everything. It's not like, oh, well, I've done my PT, that's everything, I'm done, I'm ready, I can work with the world.
Do you know what? I think, in my humble opinion, I think the level 3 PT today needs to have exercise referral.
I do too.
I think exercise referral should actually be the new PT qualification.
Yeah. Blended together, because the reality is so many people fail and refer a PARQ. Yeah.
Whether that's because of a common clinical condition, the medication they're on, those are the two main things.
Yep.
I don't know why I was like
history.
I was going to list out loads more things. But the reality is we live in an aging population, and the health of our nation is rapidly in decline.
Yeah.
And you are going to see common clinical conditions crop up in early age groups. You know, if we go back, 25, 30 years, type 2 diabetes was for somebody that was in older populations.
Yeah.
Now I've had clients with type 2 diabetes in their 20s. We've seen these conditions almost rapidly grow within younger populations based on lifestyle. And if you're going to work in a gym or out and about in your local area, the reality is you're going to come across people that are guaranteed to have these conditions.
Yes.
Simple. And it's not okay just to continue working with them.
No.
If you're not qualified.
Well summed
Simple.
Up.
That's my summary.
Summed up. I like that. That's good.
So if there was one route for somebody to go, it'd be exercise referral.
I think
because that gives you the next kind of big basic knowledge, because that covers 14 clinical conditions, but it still allows you to work with other conditions. Because you do have that knowledge around medications and contraindications.
There isn't another qualification for those conditions. Let's say MS, for example.
You can't go and do a specialist qualification in MS. So exercise referral covers you for elements of neurological conditions. It allows you to think about and consider contraindications, which is a reason why someone can't do something.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, a reason why someone can't do anything. So exercise referral opens up the doors to say, right, I am now the kind of new jack of all trades amongst contraindications, common clinical conditions and medications. It's then you can take some time out and go, right, where do I want to sit? What conditions do I get a lot of? What conditions do I want to work with? You might go, cool, I'm going to go on and do the phase 4 cardiac rehab course, or the level 4 low back pain course, or the obesity course, or a falls prevention course, level 4. There's loads out there.
Yeah, loads of them. So I think that sums it up beautifully.
Bam.
In that you're basically recognising that at the moment you can't take someone from A to B across that bridge. Void. You've got to build that bridge full of your qualifications, your experience, and in time, your confidence.
And just know there aren't any grey lines. There aren't any blurred lines. That's simple.
Yeah.
It's binary. Can I work with them? Yes or no. Was it in my course? Yes or no. Am I qualified in it? Yes or no. And on that note, we'll end it there. See you on the next one.
Hi, I'm Neil Bergman.
And I'm Hayley Bergman. Over the last 10 years, we've helped thousands of fitness professionals to get qualified, learn with simplicity, and coach clients with confidence.
We're the first to say that learning and being a FitPro doesn't have to be hard work, and that with the right structure, support and resources, you can become a confident and knowledgeable fitness professional that is dedicated to more.
So how do you learn, qualify and kickstart as a FitPro? This is the FitPro Sessions Podcast with Parallel Coaching.